All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out for B-Sides. This is our first year of Villages Talks, of hopefully many more. I'm presenting today Abhinav, who will be talking about all of the logistics and techniques and his trial and error of making the Astronaut's badge. Abhinav is the founder of Hackerware. This is his second year with us as a hardware village and badge village representative. I will now go ahead and hand it over to Abhinav. Thank you for kicking it off for us.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron, and good morning to all of you. So I'm here. My name is Abhinav. I'm here to tell a story about how we made the astronaut badge. If you guys haven't seen it, we have it in the badge village. So little bit about me. I combine electronic art with hardware hacking, and I make badges for conferences around the world. So we have been present across now 12, I really lost the count. I think it's 12 countries so far. And lots of big conferences in like DEF CON and HITB and Code Blue, RootCon, and all sorts of events. After this conference, I will also be at the RSA. We have made the RSA badge as well. So if you guys are on, maybe you want to say hi there. So a lot of people ask me how I just got into this thing. So when I was in college, I really didn't like the way college did things. Like I found it lacked creativity and all. So I got frustrated, and then one day I just went like, I'm gonna drop out of college, and that's what I did. And back then, one of the Indian conference, they wanted to make badges, but they absolutely didn't have any way or means to make it happen, because it's just so complicated to do things, and manufacturers not going to talk to you. They're going to throw lots of stuff at you, and they'll bring up 100 issues with, why the design, they can't do the design, or if they can do the design, they have certain issues and all. So that's how I got started. I made badges for an Indian conference first, and then eventually I made badges for DEF CON China. There was a village in DEF CON China, and that's how it started rolling, and I began expanding to more and more countries and more conferences. So this is my second year at BSidesSF. I'm really thankful to the crew for having me back. And last year we had a phenomenal rubber ducky village. We made this inspired by the Californian. I forgot the tree's name. Yeah, so so it was in like a tree design rubber ducky badge last year. So when I started thinking about making the badges for this year, the natural instinct is what's the theme, and the theme was putting cyber in the space, and I was really glad because I am a space enthusiast myself, so I was super excited that they would choose this theme. And again, we didn't want to do just a Blinky badge because it's just a Blinky badge, and we wanted to bring something more to it. Maybe put some CTF in it and have some learning done through it. And the idea was we'll put some space facts and space trivia and all in the CTF. So if you play the CTF, you will come across challenges like James Webb, and it will make you go through some of the NASA resources and things like that. So it's fun for even for people who are not good at hardware hacking. It's still fun to do the CTF nonetheless. And this was sort of an initial design with lot of just a black PCB and a cosmic landscape with white still screen, and we had bunch of I wanted to do a bunch of reverse mount LEDs to glow the planets and all, and of course the USB port on it. But what happened is essentially, so we have done fair number of the PCB badges before. Like if I were to go to my website, it has a lot of the previous badges that we did, and a lot of times we manage this. If you see this badge, we managed the shades by basically we print the white shade, and then we print the red, and then we print the black, and then we print the red, so you get a lighter red, and then you get a darker red and stuff like that. And that's what how we tried to maximize the design that way, by just layering the color, the ink layers on top of one another. And the thing was, because over the 6 years of time, we built our in-house lab, so we have our own machines to do everything now. So we had the freedom and time to do all sorts of these things and pay a lot of attention to detail. Uh, but yeah, it still was a lot of tedious process to go through. Each design is customized, and each design is you have to work through it and all. And so I started wondering, what do I do if I want to go beyond it? I just don't want to just do the shades like darker or red, um, and then so one of my friend, he was in a trade show, and he overheard that he was seeing a machine like a UV printing machine, and he overheard it can print on any surface, and then it kind of ignited the bulb in our head. It was like, okay, if it can print on any surface, can it print on the PCBs? And so we started doing the test. Uh, so I already had the artwork. We made these T-shirts and hoodies before, like the one I'm wearing right now, in a moon and Mars version. Just the hack the planet theme, and I really like the artwork. So we made like a customized version of it, and which was this thing. So we just put some elements on it for the CTF. So we have the rockets and ISS and then supernova, colonized planet and all. And the whole idea was we'll write a CTF that essentially gives you a feeling of us or running a space mission. So solving the first challenge glows the rocket, and then the second one, it will put you on the ISS, and there it has challenges to do with James Webb and all sort of stuff. So this was the design, and the astronaut on the Mars kind of theme, and both the CTF and the design had to go hand in hand with this theme. Um, so we started doing some early testing. Um, we always been focused on making PCBs single-sided. That the reason was I really like just having a clean PCB look on the front side, and then the components and everything on the back side. So this was like one of the early stage testing we did with the colors and all, and it was having this matte finish by default. And in the UV printing, there's a technique called lacquer coating, and if you do the lacquer coating, it has the glossy finish on it. Um, and this was the first prototype we built, and it had quite a few issues with it. Mainly the issue was there was very inconsistent white print in UV printing. And of course, one of the issue that I later on got to know was the most common with UV printing on PCB was that it turns yellowish. So one of the process in assembly, what you do is for the soldering, you put the board through a very high intensity kind of a thing. And the UV printing reacts to it in a way that it turns the color yellowish and so on. And that was one of the key issue we were trying to solve. And again, there was this inconsistent print area. It was shifting a lot from what we wanted. And these were just bunch of early issues we had with it. And the way we solve it is, first and foremost, we brought out the techniques from both the old PCB making and then also the new ones that we were doing. And essentially, what we did is we masked the PCBs. So on the back side, we had the black masking, and in the front side, we had the white masking. And on top of the white masking, we would go on to print the UV printing on it. So as a result, what happens is we fix that white issue, which was the inconsistent white print. That's how we could fix it. And then the second one was we could put a reference point when we were assembling. So that also faced the shift issue, which is like the artwork not matching the PCB size. And then finally, for the LEDs, we just put it open on both the masking. So as a result, we have the LEDs glowing from the back side. If you can check it here. the LED is flowing from the back side, but then the glow also comes out on the front side. And yeah, that fixed half the issues, and those with especially with the color correction and all. And then the second one, the yellowish tint issue, which is extremely common with people trying to do sort of this stuff. And most people I talked to, they really couldn't fix it. But we were able to fix it, and the way we were able to do it is, so in the reflow oven, which is the process for soldering the components, in the machine you can do this profile, and it's basically how much is the conveyor speed, how much is the wind speed, and the temperature and everything. We did so many experiments and then had so many fails. So the problem is, if you put the temperature too high, the board turns yellowish for sure. And then if the temperature is too low, then it's not gonna solder properly. So we just kept experimenting and then trying to find this sweet spot where the components are soldered, but at the same time, there's no yellow tint issues happening. And eventually we were able to find that sweet spot, and we were like, yeah, we found the profile, and then we made like 2 copies of it just to be on safe side, and noted it down in our history books and so on. And once we did that, we UV printed the artwork. So we black masked on backside and then white mask on the front side, and then UV print the entire artwork on front side, and then you put it through the reflow oven and solder it. And oops, yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and focus. Do not disturb. Yeah. And so the take on the PCB now, which is we have moved away from, so some of the previous CTF badges, they featured a chip from a company called Abov. We have moved away from them now, and we have started using Nuotone. Part of the reason is we wanted to have some proper support from those companies, and Nuotone was the one. They were like, we'll send you engineer to your site, and he will install our software, and he'll be there. What do you need it from us? And just use our chips. And you're like, okay, fine, I will give you a chance. And yeah, it turns out, I'm glad it turned out very well. They have good support, and so it's the 805 on architecture, and we put the micro USB for a very quick interfacing. So even if you don't solve the challenges here, you can just go home and you just need a micro USB cable, and you should be able to connect your system, and then you should be able to play the CTF. There are pads for reprogramming if you want to dive into that rabbit hole. And then there are, and maybe your hardware hacking pleasure. And then we have a custom SAO header as well. We did it again because I didn't want to drill any holes on the board. It's a very custom SAO design. It's not the conventional one you will see in batch life. And of course, all of it is powered by the coin cell because that's easiest thing and most suitable. So yeah, this was pretty much the tech. And there's a switch for you to turn it off before connecting the badge. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we soldered the LEDs upside down. Once again, these are just the standard LEDs. And this was the final form when everything was done. So this is how it looks when all the challenges are solved. It doesn't show the SAO though, but you can get the SAO. If you solve the challenges here and just show the badge that you have solved all challenges, it will give you the SAO. It's like an alien abduction SAO. And this is how it looks when all of it is done and ready. So now designing the SAO, so which is, again, as I said, we didn't want to drill the holes on the board, so it had to be an like SMD mounted. And we did fair number of experimentation with it. We tried to see how we can mount it without going the conventional way. And it's just a single LED that's glowing this abduction effect, if you want to call it. Um, uh, and the initial one, yeah, and that was the idea. But so if you use the PTH LED, it's going to not mount properly. It was mounting like diagonal, sort of almost. And then we tried with the SMD LED, but it wasn't having the full glow. It was just like a pinpoint glow, and but that fixed like just the same. So how do we fix it? We basically extended the leads and then um, put a really nice RGB LED on it, so it has this really cool alien abduction effect. So yeah, but stuff like this, we always try to see what new things we can do or not, what innovative things we can do. Lot of time it's you can argue it's tacky, and I would agree it is little tacky, but the whole point is how we can push the boundaries of patch life and try to do unique things and try to experiment with what works and what doesn't work. And thankfully everything works in this batch. So hopefully next one also works just the same. So yeah, so the batch CTF, so um, it's built on the serial monitor setup that we have always used. So you can use any serial monitor you like. You can use the terminal. Uh, you need to know the right tools to connect the batch. But if you don't, you just want to get started with it as a newbie, you can download Arduino, which is the open source IDE to code these chips. And in the Arduino, you can just select the right port, and that gets you started. It's like it takes like 2 minutes to get started, and that's what we essentially want. We wanna make more and more people to participate, and more make it accessible for majority of people to get into it, if not everyone to get into it. You just need to have interest to do things. So the CTF, again, it's not too technical on purpose. It's just how do I explain? It's more like a puzzle. Uh, so you just need to think a bit creative. So it has crypto puzzles, then it has OSINT, and it has techno puzzles on it. Again, nothing too difficult to solve. If you know how to Google things, it should be fairly simple. Uh, Again, turn off the badge before you connect the USB because you don't want to risk it. And again, it won't work, the CTF by design. So you need to turn off the badge before connection. So yeah, and as usual, we have the 3-star thing. You open the serial monitor, send 3 stars, and the badge goes into this CTF mode. And on the CTF mode, it prints out this. So we build a lot of ASCII art as well in it. So maybe any fans of 80s terminal era, you guys really gonna appreciate the ASCII art. So it's built in that, and there's a lot of design and like rockets and ISS done in ASCII art. For each challenge has a ASCII art. Uh, yeah, and if you solve, as I said, if you solve all the challenges, you get the SAO, the alien abduction SAO, and the fun part is to reset the badge. You have to send the command black hole. That's it. So you just type the black hole and send it, and that resets it, and you just connect the badge again. Um, and of course, it's me from the last year having my lunch because I didn't get time. But yeah, so we have the badge village to encourage the CTF and the programming aspect of it. Try to get people into some of the crypto challenges and techno challenges in it. We have plenty of laptops for you to try on. Then we gonna hand out the SAOs. You'll also get the badge there. We have, I think, 250 something badges to hand out without any cost. So you just only have to have interest, and that should be done. And yeah, let's celebrate the badge life and put Saber in space. So if you need any CTF or support or anything, it's right on this link. And then there is a Slack challenge if you the Slack channel on the BSideSF, and there's this batch CTF channel, so you can just go ahead and ask us queries there. we'll be here for entire 2 days. So if you have any issues for 2 days, I'll be here. And if not, you can text me on, I don't know, Twitter or anywhere you want. You can text, and that should be fine. And this is the website. So on the website as well, there is a contact form and email and everything. So yeah, that should be it. I think thanks a lot for coming to the talk. It's my first talk in US, and I hope you liked it. So if you have any questions, we'll take questions for 5 minutes. If not, then I will be just around the badge village. Yeah. Anyway, anybody? Okay.
Hey, I was just wondering, what was the cost of the badge run? About how much is it per unit?
Cost of the badge run?
Yeah, kind of cost per unit and kind of total. Just curious.
Yeah, I think we probably had some around $25 or something for the badge run. Yeah, and that's again because this was the first time. One of the thing is, as I said, when I saw the UV printing samples, I was so sold out. We went ahead and purchased the UV printing machine. So we imported it, and that was, I don't know, $15,000 for the machine. But I was very glad because we could now do the full color PCBs, and the rest of the badges we are doing this year, all of them are probably going to be full color as well. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, there should be. Any other question? Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, I think we are done here. Thanks a lot, and I hope I will see you in the badge village. Yeah, have a great day, everyone.